everybody to episode 8 of the Weekly Grind.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 8 of the Weekly Grind. Thank you, Gabriel, for our introduction once again. Appreciate you guys coming back. I am back. Thank you, Russell, for allowing me to have a vacation. It was blessed and beautiful. I am back now, and we are definitely in for more content. Just kind of give you guys a rundown of what's been going on in the shop. We will be starting a weekly, monthly, daily, depends on how everything's loaded with our work, newsletter out to everyone. So if you've ever done a transaction with us, given us your email, we will be able to start sending those out soon. Once we get more content loaded up for that, we will be doing that as well. We've also got some intricate stuff with chefs that we're going to be taking care of. I don't want to release too much on it, but we've got a lot of work we're doing with local chefs in the restaurant industry here in Houston. So be on the lookout for that, as well as our kind of top secret, not top secret thing, cryptic messages we've been putting on social media for what's coming up. I don't want to go into too much, but guys, just stay tuned, subscribe, like, follow us on social media, everything that you can, so that you can see the latest news from us. Before we get into the knives, I just want to do a quick rundown on we will be putting in knives into stock, the knives that are already in stock today, not knives going into stock. So we will be taking care of some of the back inventory that we already have on our website. We'll get into that here in just a brief moment, and then we will talk about the topic of the day. I'll be bringing Russell in, and we'll be discussing that. So on to the knives in stock that we will be showcasing for today. All right, everyone, so here we have knives that we have in stock that we are showcasing for today's episode. Everything here will have our CPM 154, except for the guy here in the middle. This will be a special sandmine laminate that Russell likes to work with. We've got a full set right here, small set for a kitchen with magnet block. So you've got your chef, your petty and pairing, and then we've got a Bowie and drop point hidden tang hunter, both with their complementary leather sheaths. Take a look on the website for more info and for each individual video, everyone. All right, so just a kind of quick reminder that those were the knives that are backstocked. We are now loading videos of them and giving you a quick overview of what they are. Check on the website for all the current pricing. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. We're going to go ahead and get to the topic of the week. We will be talking about the 3 most common knives we get for butchering, which will mainly be cleavers, slicers, and boning knives. We sell those the most as far as butchering goes, although we do specialty knives as well. But I'm going to bring Russell in now. We're going to go ahead and get him in here, and we'll get to talking about butchering knives. So, Russell, you ready?
Ready.
Come on in, buddy. All right, so we're going to be breaking down the 3 knives that we've got. We sell it pretty much regularly here in the shop. And one thing we know, being in Texas and then being in Houston, Texas, barbecue's king.
Barbecue.
So a lot of the knives that we will be presenting today are for big animal breakdown. We do boning knives for our fishermen and people who want to do more intricate work with knives. But for the most part, we've got big slicers and big old cleavers. We've got a boning knife as well. So let's go ahead wherever you want to start.
Well, you said cleavers first. Let's start there. So cleavers, primary use, literally cleaving meat. You'll see that I love to put the curvature in here, which means you can use it for a lot more than just meat. My wife uses these to mince dried fruit, dried nuts, all kinds of things that are too hard on a really acute chef's knife. She'll take out a big cleaver and just be able to rock it back and forth and chop it up. But yeah, they're called cleavers because they're designed for cleaving meat. So on all of our cleavers, you have a really nice chopping action to allow you to go into that meat, and then at the same point you'll be able to mince with it, just making it more useful. So all of them will come with that, and then the rest of these is really aesthetics, and then what kind of handle we put on. So this is what we call a wicked point cleaver. Just looks cool, just as functional as all the other ones. We also do some more of the traditional rounded corner style. We also do ones that are full rectangle, basically anything you can think of as a cleaver. We've either have it in stock or have done it recently. And then I love this one. Daniel did this one. You'll notice how much higher the grind is on this. This will cut and slice really nicely. Still obtuse, still a cleaver. Didn't want to go too crazy, but the grind on it all the way up just makes it a beast for chopping stuff up. Changes the weight a lot too, and it's got a great look to it. So yeah, cleavers designed to cleave meat and to be able to dice basically anything that would be too hard on a chef's knife.
So, real quick question, just because although these are the cleavers we do, there are very many different types of cleavers. One of the ones we run across every now and then are a thinner type Japanese style of cleaver.
Oh, the Chinese style, yes.
Chinese style,
yes.
Japanese style, I apologize.
Very rectangular,
but also very thin for the edges.
Very
so
thin.
A lot of the times they're not used for the common uses of cleavers here in America. And I just kind of wanted to point this out. A lot of the things we do are a little bit more traditional American. Yeah. And the cleavers we make here usually, and we can do a more Asian style or Chinese style, but there's a thickness to these blades. So with this thickness, you definitely get some heft. When you're bringing this down to chop through something, it's gonna go through it. It's going through it. This is a great steel that gets a great edge. And once you get the weight behind that, you're going through meat. You're going through bone, and you're not going to have a lot of issues. Right. With a lot of the Asian style cleavers, going through bone is not optimal.
No, yeah, they're significantly thinner, and they're used a lot more for just bulk vegetable chopping. You have it with the Chinese cleavers. You even have it with a lot of South American cleavers, honestly, where they're just designed to dice things, to mince things. The goal is to make big things small.
Right.
Right, and so that's if that needs to happen, you can use one of those cleavers for it, but you don't want to go through bone.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these are definitely meant for real big bulk work, going through that, as well as small intricate chopping and fine mincing.
Yeah.
So just to kind of clarify that up, that's a lot of the cleavers that we do. But on to our boning knife.
Okay, so boning knives. Typically slightly upswept point. It allows you to get into shoulders. Obviously, you're taking apart animals, so it's only mildly gruesome, but you want to be able to get in and around the shoulder so you don't have to completely break it out, and then you can get all the ligaments and such. This curvature is actually very handy. A lot of times you have to hold the knife upside down to get in and around, and so you literally index this with your palm and also reaching over, so you can do the same movement back and forth to be able to get the shoulders, the hind legs, be able to literally get in and around those joints and pop it out. So this is one of those handles that's very important to be comfortable in every aspect. Notice this is a lot more rounded over than a lot of the other bird's beak handles. So you can literally reach over the top, you can reach sideways, up, backwards basically, and literally palm on the spine for all those intricate movements you have to do. We also do this knife without the hump. It makes it more elegant looking, but honestly, it does take away some of those performance aspects of what that hump is there for. I mean, originally designed by the Spaniards in like the 14th or 15th century. Hasn't changed in hundreds of years. You know it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Quick question on the boning knife. I know we've got a very nice, very piercing point here, so this allows you to get into the animal very fast.
Yes.
But with these long, nice swooping blades, this allows for longer cuts at a very quicker rate.
Yes.
I'm assuming. So when you're coming down nice and straight. You've got control here because your finger is pretty much about a little bit more than halfway on the blade. So the control here is so accurate. You can pretty much tell this blade to do what you want it to do. And that's one of the things that I've noticed on boning knives that some people want, especially some of our customers. They love the control, a nice sharp blade with a good piercing point, and once they get in there, the control they can use to do those things. It's really amazing if you haven't seen someone break down any kind of animal with a boning knife, but that is definitely what we try to aim to getting done with these guys.
And then we also do the Japanese version, which is much more of a long triangular version of it. It accomplishes the same thing, but very different. It's not an upswept point. It's pretty much a normal point, but the Kiritsuki, the one that's cut off. And we've done a lot of those too. We just don't happen to have one in stock right now.
Now, just off of my knowledge, would that be because they do a little bit more fish than they do kind of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where we have more variety of animals in our proteins, from chickens and beef to pork, they usually do a lot of fish.
More
so
fish,
their cuts are a lot more straighter.
Yeah, well, and more precise.
Okay.
They break joints differently than we do, so they don't need a knife to do the same exact things, because they butcher large animals completely different, because, like you said, they do eat mostly fish. And so when they butcher a cow, like that's special, everything is going to get used, so they do it a completely different way of breakdown than we do.
And just as a quick interrupter, I don't want to get anyone discouraged. You've done some Asian style knives.
Oh yeah,
okay,
all the time.
So comfortable doing it. We can bang out those customs. Don't worry about that. What we have here is just, like I said earlier, it's a very common request we get of our slicers, cleavers, and boning knives. But Russell has his knowledge in Japanese blades and knows how to make them, knows the precision that goes into them. Don't be afraid to ask him the questions. You wouldn't get much knowledge out of me, so if you have those questions, make sure you reach out to Russell. He's going to definitely lead you in the right direction you want to go to. So, on to our slicers now.
So slicers, the main thing we get asked for slicers about is for brisket. So you want a fairly long, fairly thin blade to be able to get between rib bones, whether it's a brisket or a stack of ribs. It's all the popular things to barbecue in Texas. So this is one based off of an old a forged craft knife. You know, all of our grandfathers had one of these knives. I made it longer and more deep to support the length that I wanted to get for like a good barbecue slicer. The one we do the most of for barbecue teams is this beauty, Upswept. If you followed us for any length of time, you've seen us do a ton of these over the time frame. A little bit deeper than the other one. Upswept point, again, you're going to get a nice long cut. You get a nice big belly on it, and you really get a lot of bang for your buck out of that shape of knife.
If you guys want to see one of these actually in action, last year we did a full sponsorship with Chasing More Smoke out of Pasadena, right outside of Houston. Really good group of guys, do a great brisket. Got second or third.
They got second and third in a couple things.
In a couple different categories. Great barbecue, but they demonstrate our knives very well on Instagram. They have pictures of them. They actually use this is pretty much their design, their same design. They've got matching handles for their team, so it's in their colors. But yeah, they definitely use our knives, and you can just tell with the briskets and the stuff they go through, you can see what they're using this for. And it's, you see a lot of guys on the barbecue team, they're just going through brisket after brisket with these guys.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a common design that we get, and we've definitely done some different ones, but really tried and true design here, and very, very sharp and beautiful. So
yeah. So something you see much more in the restaurant industry, a slicer with no point. You can't stab yourself with it. It's great for doing like ham slices, turkey, all the stuff you would do with a regular Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day slicer. No point, so you're not going to cut yourself. Just nice, simple, straight, ground up real high nicely, so it'll slice beautifully. Yeah, they'll take some stuff down.
These are a more elegant design. In my opinion, it's got straighter lines, and once again, the no point here adds a lot for home cooks, because around a kid you don't have to worry about them piercing themselves. This was actually not this very one, but this style was one of my very first slicers that I did, which was the rounded tip. Really, really good for chopping, making sure that you're getting big cuts of meat down real fast, and variety of different sizes that you can go from, as well as handle construction.
Yeah, it scales very well.
Yes, scales very well. Definitely makes slicing a breeze. And
because remember the one we did that was 14 inches long and 2.5 deep for Breck at Tin Roof, and that's a big knife. So this design scales up or down very easily. And
you definitely got a big, good knife here for slicers. This one's just a little bit more towards the home end, if you ask me, because it's a little smaller.
Yeah.
But any range you're looking at getting done, we can take care of it for you.
And then our straight back slicer, again, tried and true, nice big belly. It does have the point on it, but again, all your regular carving tasks is one of those things that you'll be able to do with this knife. If it's carving a turkey, ham, Sunday roast, nice, straight, elegant spine, deep enough to do basically anything. But at the same point, if you still need to get between ribs, if you're doing a barbecue, you can still do that as well. So great design, great shape, and I love that Juma. It polishes up beautifully. Yeah.
So that's pretty much our butchering knives that we commonly do here in the shop. Just as kind of a quick and
down and dirty
synopsis of what we're doing, but also just a question for you, Russell.
Sure.
If someone comes in wanting one of these 3 types of butcher knives, what's generally the steel that you recommend for these, and with some history of older types of knives, which I already know this answer.
I mean, all of them except for this one are high carbon.
Okay.
Excuse me, that's backwards. This is the only high carbon. This is 52-100. The rest of these are stainless.
And why is that?
Because when you're on a line, you're cooking all day long for a cook-off, you don't necessarily have time to stop, wipe your knife down every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hour. That knife could be in gunk all day long. And if it's high carbon, you just have that little bit more possibility of it rusting on you. And it's just something you don't need, especially if you're going to be cooking all weekend for your knife to rust on Friday. So, like I said, a majority of the knives we've done in these are stainless, and then obviously all but one of these are stainless. It's just the safer option when you're going to be barbecuing all day, whether you're doing a cook-off or you're doing it at home just for your family and friends. It is the safer bet. Now, I say that, and a lot of barbecue guys do sharpen their own knives. Right. So the ones that can take care of them, they do a low stress style of barbecue. Mm-hmm. Then yes, I can recommend the high carbon to them. They can sharpen it more easily themselves, and they can watch that beautiful patina happen over years of use. Especially cutting red meat, it'll patina beautifully, and you just don't get to see that with the stainless. And not saying that you can't maintain stainless knives or sharpen them on a stone yourself. You can. It's significantly easier with the high carbon to maintain that edge and or sharpen it fully when it gets dull, because stainless is that much harder.
Definitely. So once again, these are just things that we know from our customers, what they prefer when they're getting a knife. And
no wrong answer.
There's no wrong answer. We're not leading you one way or another. But also with that, a lot of the refurbs or refurbishments that we get from older cleaver, slicers, and boning knives, they're not stainless.
No.
And this is just a quick history lesson, but why was that?
It was all high carbon. I mean, stainless steel really didn't make the knife world, and especially the industrial knife world, in the country until the 60s and 70s. And so you have high carbon steel knives with no epoxy on the handles, so water would get in behind the handle and then start rotting the wood from the inside out and rusting the tang. And so we see a lot of knives that the tangs need to be literally cut off or re-welded on, or at least really well sandblasted to get that rust out of there and make sure it's integral before we can continue to rehandle that knife. And then we use an epoxy so that rust won't continue. It can't propagate without oxygen. And we'll talk about refurbs. We have videos planned for refurbs, so that's getting a little deep for slicers. But yeah, a lot of the old stuff really needs some care, or it really will fall apart eventually.
So if you guys got a older cleaver, older slicer, Forgecraft was one of the brands that Russell brought up. Definitely 100% high carbon if you go back far enough. So if you've got that, try to keep the rust off of it. We'll definitely put out some content to make sure that you're understanding rust removal or refurbishment process as well.
And the best things to do for those knives in the interim before you make it in, or you just want to keep the natural look on it.
We'll definitely cover that in one of our next videos. And I know we kind of went into steel, and if you don't know exactly what we mean by stainless versus high carbon and corrosion and
let's see, we'll make it happen, like
we'll put it somewhere up here.
Steel link video.
Yeah, right, so there's a video that you can go look at for the different steels that we use and the properties of them and why we use them. But other than that, everyone, this was just a quick breakdown of our butchering knives. If you have any questions, just like always, feel free to reach out to us, contact us, and we will see you next week. Until then, we're done.
Thank you.
Later, guys.